everyone, welcome to Weekend Project. This is Laura Lynn of the Mama Pop Quilt Shop. We are working on an Easter bunny bag. I figured there's all sorts of bags that are needed for Easter, so why not? We'll make ourselves a little bunny bag. So there's all sorts of designs out there. Pinterest is a perfect place to go looking for stuff and ideas, so I kind of did my own. I didn't do the nose and the whiskers, I kind of just did the eyes and the teeth. So we're gonna process with that. And these are what we just got some handles. If you want all the measurements, it'll be all listed below. This is just something I just winged up size-wise. It had nothing, I didn't follow anybody's pattern or something like that. It was just the size that I liked. So I've just got 2 strips for the handles and a little batting to go inside, 2 little bits to make the ears, okay? Got 2 little types of fabric, okay? And then I've got batting for the inside of the bag. You don't have to. I mean, you can just use 2 pieces of fabric. It's completely up to you. I'm going to do some quilting of it. I have always lots and lots of battings left over. In fact, I even pieced this one together. So I always try to think of new ideas to use them and reuse them and just incorporate them to other things. So why not just make a little cute bag, right? So, and then I have an inside and an outside. You can, doesn't matter, whichever one you want to use. I've used a kind of a variety of fabrics that I have. I have 2 other bags I've made, and I'll show you afterwards. And then we'll see how it goes. So I want this one to be my inside, or so my outside, and I'm going to quilt that. I'll show you on the 2 other bags. I've quilted one on the inside and quilted one on the outside. So I'm going to quilt this one on the outside, and we're going to stitch it all up. You can use whatever you like. You got decorative stitches all over on your machine. You've got zigzags, and you've got, hello, make my little gnome up. You've got zigzags and all sorts of fancy little swirls and twirls and things that you could do on your machine. Just make sure you're using your proper foot, okay? I'm just going to go for this one that I like down here, and I usually, if I am ever flipping and sewing a binding on, this is actually one of my favorite stitches to use, okay? It's just kind of got a, almost looks like a heartbeat. It's kind of like, anyways, I like it. So you can either pin, but since this is just a kind of like a small little project, I'm just going to hold it because we're going to trim it anyways, right? And gotta have your little Easter eggs for snacks. Gotta have that chocolate. And just work your way from the middle out to the side. You can go this way or diagonal, whatever you want to do. In fact, I think I'm going to go this time around. I'm going to go this way. Okay, just going to work my way in the center. I'm going to just increase the stitch a little bit and just pattern from one side to the next. This will be the longest part, actually. It's the whole quilting part. Like I said, you don't have to do it. Oh, my egg's running away on me. Can't have that happen. Or you can use a variety of stitches. There's your applique stitch. This one. And just use straight if you want. Change the space in between. It doesn't have to be straight. Do a little zigzag, do a little curve. Okay, and then cut right to the end. Right. And I think I'll just do one more on each side, and then I'll do a couple of straight stitches in between with some curves, okay? So, trying to make this not necessarily a speedy project, but like I said, you can totally skip all this part and just use your 2 bits of fabric and your 1 handle, 2 handles, whatever you want to do. You don't have to add the ears if you don't want to. I mean, I'm just trying to add a little bit of, you know, dimension and kind of fun stuff to it, right? We're making a bunny bag. And I've got some leftover white batting that I've used in some quilts that specifically wanted some white batting for it. And I'm just using those as the little teethers. Okay, well, I'm going to do one on the other side. And you can turn it if you find that your neck of your machine here, this right here, doesn't allow you for a lot of space. You just flip it around. Just work it on the other side. Like I said, we'll add a couple of straight stitches and a couple of lines of straight stitches, and then we'll count this quilting part done. Okay, but you get the idea. You could do it. Even funky threads. I think like a multicolor or a variegated thread, that'd be awesome. Totally cool. Yeah, that's probably what I should have used. I had some really cool purple variegated one. I used it on one of my scrappy bags I made. Did a lot of applique stitches on the blocks in between and stuff like that. It looked really cool. Ooh, coming to the end. right. Okay, I'm gonna just do a couple of straight stitches here, a couple of straight rows, just increase the space, okay? And I'm just gonna make these all curvy. Just gonna weave it and wob it. Just have some fun. And you can tell I am on Leadfoot Larry mode today. Let's go! Pedals to the floor for a reason. All right, trim. And then we'll just do a couple in between each one here. Just add some fun stuff to the bag, right? This is where you can hand stitch the face on if you wanted to, or use felt for the nose and the eyes. I've got buttons. I've got buttons for the eyes here and buttons for the tail. There was a suggestion that I use a yo-yo and stuff it, and I thought about that, and I think I still may do that on another one, but I'd already planned for the buttons, so, or already had it. I had literally a huge bucket of buttons, so I got to use some of them up. But yo-yo is a fantastic idea, and of course I always have leftover batting. Slowly I'm working my eggs off my sewing table here. No! Don't go! Save the chocolate eggs! Oh, running away. You saw that. I know you did. All right, one more. And then we're done with the stitching. That part. Okay, move that off to the side. Okay, mine's a little red thread there. Okay, you see? Just did some little stitches to keep it tacked down with the batting, okay, to keep the batting in. So now we want to give this a little trim. I'm going to move all my little parts over here so I got some space. Okay. We want to give this a little trim to hopefully the fabric size, you know, because that was kind of what I cut it at. I think it was 30 by 15, but I can always triple check. In fact, I'll triple check right now. Actually, 14 and a bit. So 14 and a half, 15. To me, it just made a nice little size. A nice good candy size, right? Okay, just trim this up. I thought about actually getting another rotary cutter and using one just for batting and one for fabric, because, you know, sometimes that batting is pretty thick stuff. And I know it's cotton and bamboo, and still it's going to dull your blade, right? So instead of always using the one for everything, I don't know, do people use two X-Acto or rotary cutters for when they're doing quilting and stuff like that? Because I trim a lot of quilts too, and I don't mind doing that. So I just think maybe it's probably a better idea. All right, take your little bits, save them, because you never know where you're going to need them. And then you want to take the two ends, okay, and we're going to put them together. And that's going to make our bag size right there, but that's going to be the inside. Okay, so there's the outside. So you understand where I'm going here, okay? Like that, okay? So what we need to do is do our handles, because we need to put those placement on first before we end up sewing anything around. So I just took 1 inch by about 25, even though my strip's only about 22. Okay, just kind of want to line her up, fold this over a bit, fold that over a little bit more, and then line them up. And that gets you a nice cushioned handle. Okay, it's nice and soft on your hand. Okay, do it at the other end. And then you can put the little pins in between, okay? I know, sometimes I wish I had like 3 more hands. Just think of all the stuff I could get done. Could you imagine? Be chaos. Okay, so just pin that and make 2 of these, really easy, super easy little handles. And like I say, they got a bit of cushion on them. I'm gonna fight with the little threads here. Okay, couple pins, and then you're just going to sew down each side and make Cute little handles. Oh, that was driving me nuts. Put that one in there. It's been very spring-like this week. I'm very, very excited to see the temperature up above 0 many, many times. So it was a little wet, but that's okay. That's what spring's all about. It's nice to finally actually be here. Kind of feels like a little bit. All right, let's do the other one real quick, and then we'll sew them down. You can use complementary thread, or like I said, a variegated thread, you know, whatever your heart's desire, you know. Your imagination is the only limitation. So try to keep them consistent, about the same size, because you do have that 1 inch to work with the batting, so that should give you a bit of a guideline, okay? All right. Uh-oh, cat's on the move. You all know, chaos could happen any moment. And did he go downstairs? Oh no. Oh, he's okay. He's just scratching his post. That's so great. Usually there's a crash, bang, bang, boom with the cat involved when he's out running free. Like it was, I don't remember which block I was doing. Oh, it might have been the Elephants on Parade block, I think. And I don't know what he got into downstairs, but it was a racket. And I really thought things were going to start collapsing. I was like, what's going on with the cat too? Okay, so now you have that. Just pin down on both sides, okay? And you're just going to give a little seam on both edges, right on this side and right on this side, okay? But of course, seal your one that you've pinned up first. Okay. Decorative stitch, not decorative stitch, decorative thread, whatever, it's your choice. Depends how fancy you want to make the bag. Okay, the bunny bag. Had a little head bob going on, going Easter bunny bag. Alright. I actually have some really funky decorative stitches up on here. I've got like a bird and a cat and hearts and all sorts of fun stuff. And you could even use those if you happen to have those fancy little stitches. You could use those on the handle. That would make it really cool and very unique. Okay, so just do the other side. Okay, real quick. And then the other one. Sorry, probably couldn't see with the other camera there. I have it feeding from a spool, big spool over here, and that's why I don't want to shut it and pinch the thread in there. So it's actually got a little thread in there already, a spool holding it open. That's why it's bouncing around. And of course, I don't know any speed besides go. Go, go, go. Alrighty. And you can use, what is it, I'm trying to think of, it's what the karate belts are made out of. It's like that woven fabric sort of thing. You can even just use those as a handles. You don't even have to create your own. I mean, you can use a rope or ribbons, you know, keep it whatever, keep it interesting. Recycle something. Okay, I thought maybe I'd missed on the back side there, but I didn't. I thought, because it was getting a little close on the edge there, so. Always best to check. If you have to rip out and re-sew, that's okay. But the main point is to have some fun. We had an awesome block last weekend. We called it Dragon's Eye. And we've, from our fabrics here at the quilt shop, at the Mom and Pop Quilt Shop, if anybody's interested, you could always just let us know. We'll try and get you what you need, or get you what you're looking for. Just contact us. It was quite the hit. It was quite the hit. Everybody were loving it. So that's just fluffing. I'm tossing off to the side there. And then what you want to do is you want to take your ruler and you want to kind of evenly space your handles, okay? Let's do it this way. I can't count backwards as much as I like to count forward. So let's put a pin, since we are at, okay, let's see, from edge to edge, both sides, we good? Okay, 15. Okay, so what's half of 15? 7.5. So we'll put a 7.5 right there. And then we'll want to go about 2 inches, 2.5 inches from that halfway mark on either side to put your handles in, okay? And you want to make sure they're going the same way. They're not like twisted or anything like that, unless that's what you want, okay? So when you lay them down, making sure you're making like a big U, not like a twisty U, but a big U, okay? So we'll measure, so we're 7.5, 8.5, 9.5, and I'm going to put it on this edge on that 9.5, okay? And I'm just going to take my 2 little bits there, and I'm pinning it. And then we got this one, and this one. And we're going to pin it. And then we're going to flip and do it on the same side, on the other side, okay? All right. So we know where the pin is because we're smart enough to put one in before we went over to flip it. Okay. Oops. Then we're going to have to do our ears next, okay? 1 and 2, and then put the pin because we got to sew the ears on to this as well before we actually do this in center of the bag. Okay, so 1 and 2 and right there. Should be, unless you just want to make sure they're lining up. Oops, I must have been miscounting. Okay, there we go. I was over 1 more inch. Okay, there we go. We got this. Like I said, it's just designing on the fly. Well, I did think of the idea. Okay, so here's what it's going to look like, okay, with your handles. Like I say, make sure they're trying to be evenly spaced across. And then we need to make our ears. Now I just left this pretty blank. When I sewed it, I just sewed the shape of an ear that I liked. Not both of them were exact because I don't think ears are both way exact. So, you know, do what you want. It's your choice. So I just picked a nice little flowery thread here, or fabric here that I have in the couple of the other bags that I made to make them all kind of matchy-matchy. So I kind of come up on a curve, do a bit of a straight. You can make small ears, big ears, anything you like. And then when it comes close to the top, try and meet myself in the middle, a couple of stitches, and then start coming back down on the other way. I mean, it's just an ear, right? And kind of tuck in a little bit in the middle, back stitch, take my little pins out, see that I like the stitching. Okay, you can kind of see the stitching outline there. Okay, and then I'm thinking, okay, I like that. I'm going to do the other one, similar if I can. Close to thereof. Okay, so come up on the edge, a little bit of straight, come near the top, make a curve, stop, a couple of steps, lift, come down on the other side, do a little straight, and come in with a little bit of curve at the end of the ear. Okay. Now I say to myself, hey, Laura Lynn, do those look alike? And I go, yes, they do. So I like them. So I'm going to take those, give them a little trim. Like I said, this is where you can decide whether you want a long or short. It's completely up to you. But you really need to get the bulk of these corner bits off, okay? Or it's not going to give your ear any shape. It's going to look all fluggy on the inside. I'm not sure if fluggy is a word, but I just made it up. It's not good. Let's put it that way. And don't forget, save all your little scrappy bits. Some projects, somehow, some way, is going to need it. Give it a trim. Of course, I'm not using my fabric scissors. I'm using my batting scissors. I'm like, why is it taking so long to get through this? Because I'm using the wrong tool. It's okay. Use it to the end. Never give up. Never surrender. Okay, now to easily turn it out, I just go like this, kind of scoot your thumb all the way in there, hold it with your middle finger, with your thumb, and then just kind of peel it. So there you go. And then, ta-da! Ear. Number 1. Are you listening? To the next one. Okay. And then, if you want, you can leave them like this, stuff them, whatever you want to do. Like I said, the only limitation is your imagination. I'm just going to put a little stitch all the way around, okay? And another time to use your decorative ones if you wanted. Just trying to give it a little bit of, I guess, dimension. Now, it doesn't have to be all crazy right on. Okay. Just make sure you're trying to give yourself about a 1/4 inch all the way around. Just right in the edge of your seams there, okay? Okay, so just go all the way around. Nothing too fancy. Like I said, if you want to stuff it, stuff it. I mean, it's completely up to you. Okay. Do this, and then we attach the ears, do the inner part, and that's that. Literally, the bag is done. This is like the harder part sort of thing. Like I said, you don't have to do this part if you don't want to. You could have mixed and matched ears. You could have the same outside but different insides, or have it so it's patchy worked. You know, rabbits come in all sorts of colors. All right, so now you want to take whichever side you want to pick, okay, for your ears to go on, and then putting them on a handle side, okay? So we're going to take out our little halfway pin there. I'm going to take this, and if you want it so the colored fabric stands up when your ears are, like when your bag is like this way and you want them like this, then that's fine. If you want them so it's opposite so you can really tell that they're ears or what have you, it's completely up to you. I was having it so the colored side was up, okay? And I was just putting a little bit of a fold, like a little, I guess a little pleat, or a little tuck and pleat sort of thing to give it that ear, see? Ear, that little dimension it needs, okay? So put them almost right beside each other. Okay, in between the handle space. Give yourself a little pin. Keep it in space. Keep it in place, not in space. Keep it in space. Okay, do the other one. Okay. Now try to keep them like around about the same space apart from the handles. Doesn't have to be, like I say, crazy bang on. Just have some fun. Be the most unique thing. Okay, now what we want to do is just stitch these little guys down, including the handle, okay? Including the handles on both sides. Okay, just to keep them in place so when we put the inside in, nothing's going to shift and we know exactly where everything is. We know where the handles are and we know where the ears are. And nobody's going nowhere. Okay? Egg time. So much more fun when you got chocolate involved. Okay, and now just the handles on the other side. Okay, so it should look like that. I saw it with the, the reason why I thought of this one is they were using the pant leg of a jean, like of a pair of jeans that they recycled as the bottom of the bag for the Easter Bunny bag. And I thought, oh, that's kind of cute too, but I didn't have that many jeans. I don't even wear jeans. So be donated only. Okay, so now what you want to do is going to put your handles together, okay? And you want to put your pins in, lining up your two sides, okay? You just want to pop a nice straight seam all the way down. Okay. Do 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 do. Oop. More fluffs than I need right now. Okay. It's always nice to pin so you can keep your place, especially when you're making bags and stuff like that. It's kind of important, okay? All right. So 1/4 inch, 1/2 inch, whatever you're comfortable with. Just make sure you're allowing for the same on the inner part of the bag, okay? Fuzzies. Okay, and then same way. right, now, okay. Now our bag should look like this, okay? And this is where, like I said, if you had the two fabrics, you could just, you know, sew them together in a nice big box and so on and so forth, and away you go. So there's without our inners and our boxed corners, eh? So it's kind of looking cute. See how I meant by the ears? They stay up like this. Okay, so now what we want to do is we want to box out our corners because we want to make sure we can carry lots in our bunny bag. Okay, so the easiest way to do that, I find, is you go and you find the center, okay? You lay it flat. You take your ruler, whichever one you want to use, and of course you can use a disappearing pin or a pencil or what have you, because you're going to cut it, nobody's going to see it, okay? So nobody's going to see that mark. I mean, I wouldn't be using, you know, dark purple ink on a white fabric or something, because then they probably might see it on the inside. But okay, give yourself 3 inches. Measure to the tip at the 3-inch mark, and then go all the way down, and making sure maybe the center seam here, this line here is in your center seam, so you know it's a nice straight triangle. Make yourself a little pencil mark there. We're going to sew that line, and then we're going to trim it off, okay? And we're going to do the same on the other side. So let's do them both at the same. So we know we're not confused. We know we have to do 3 inches. Put the little seam right there, nice and straight. Just mark it, a couple of pins, sew the line, trim it, okay? Uh-oh. The cat is back. And you don't have to trim it. I don't think I did in the second bag I did. I think I just left the little tabs out because it was adding some structure to the bottom of the bag. So I mean, it's completely up to you. You don't want to trim, don't trim. You don't want to make box corners, don't make box corners. It's all good. No pressure. Okay. See, I'll show you what we just did. And like I said, you don't have to. See our nice little boxed corners there? Okay, nice and beautiful. Okay, and now we're just going to make our inside. In fact, those are pointing to the bottom, so I think I'm just going to leave them. Okay, so inside, super easy. Sewing down the 2 sides, boxing out the corners, tuck on the inside, sew around. Boom. Chakalaka, boom. Speaking of chakalaka, another egg. All right. I'd love to see if anybody's creating anything for Easter. I would love to see it. I like when people doing all sorts of different weird things for Easter. And of course, you would have this fabric directional, or the right side in, and this would be the wrong side out. To me, it's all the same. I can't tell which side is which, so of the screen. Which I kind of like fabrics like that. Then I don't have to stress about it. That's why batiks are kind of fun too. Because when you're putting a bag together, or a quilt, or even just like a placemat or something like that, it doesn't matter which way it is. If you like a little bit more like darker on some side and then lighter on the other, that's what I kind of find with a little bit of the batiks. Batiks, bataks, whatever. Ticky-tacky toto. All right, so there's our inner part. Now we're gonna box out like we just did. Okay, find your little halfway, give it a flip, line it up with your ruler. Try and get your this seam in the center so you know you're not like, you know, askew or anything. All right, just mark her up. Pop a couple of pins there to hold the line straight while you're doing your stitching. Do the same on the other side. Okay. Now here's a way what you could do. If you want to turn the bag right side out without having to top stitch around the top, then this is where you would actually leave a gap in the side of this inner bag at about 3 to 4 inches. Sorry, the phone is ringing. It's very distracting. Okay, make sure you put your line at your 3-inch mark and then put your pins in, and then we're just going to sew those 2 lines that we just made, one on either side to box those corners out. Okay. All right, almost there. All right. And like I say, you can trim them, completely up to you. Whatever you want to do. Okay. So it'll be the inside. Okay. Now you want to make sure, I think I'm going to take my own advice there and split the seam on the outside, because I like to sew all the way around on the outer part of the bag. Making a mess. What else is new? Okay, so I'm just going to rip the seam open just a smidge, just enough so I can turn the rest of that bag out from it. Okay. You're like, what? No worries, it's easy. Just enough to get the bag out, okay? So right sides together, make sure your ears are in and your handles are in, where you want them, okay? So they're hanging down your sides on the inside, okay? They're not crossed over. You take your seam there into this seam right here. You're gonna line them up. Then you're gonna pin. Okay. Now, if your fabric is really thick, I suggest splitting this seam if you're using the batting, or even some other thicker. You got an old pair of, you know, I don't know, corduroy pants you want to recycle, reuse, that would be a great way to use them. Make them into a bag or something like that. So just saying, if it's really thick, make sure you split that seam. Make sure you bring your handles up and get those handles pinned into place. You don't want them shifting. And that's why we sewed them like that on the first side around, because then we know they're straight. We're not going to try and fiddle them in here and try and get them straight in between those 2 pieces of fabric and see if they're going to all line up or whatever. We already know they are. They're sewed down. Same with the ears, okay? That's why we kind of just tack them into place. Make sure you putting your ears on the same spot. Putting a pin, sorry, in your ears. Not like that way, you know what I mean, your bunny rabbit ears. Okay. And then, like, as you can decorate the outside whatever you like. I have some buttons and some, no, just some buttons. I was going to get some felt, but okay. Now, if you're lucky to have a tray that pops out like this, that's fantastic. If not, just try and slowly work it away around the inner part of your sewing machine. Okay. Just slide it under. Okay, line up those fabrics a bit better. Like I said, you could trim the corners if you like. It doesn't matter. It adds to the body of the bag. Oop, somehow. Because see, somehow I came unthreaded. Whoopsies. That's okay. We'll do this real fast here. Back up. Doo-doo. Okay. That up. I have to get my googly specs out. Do this right. I have an auto threader on this machine, but it doesn't like certain threads. It's very picky. I don't like it that it's so picky, but it's picky. Alrighty, there we go. A little back stitch, come down a good 1/2 inch. You want to make sure you're enclosing all the ears, the handles, everything, okay? And you're not going to see those stitches that you tack down with. You're coming on the other side of them, okay? All right, just go all the way around. That's why I like having that little split seam on the inside of the bag, because then you don't see any of the outside, you know, stitching it together. I mean, what we're going to do around the outside is more of a decorative than anything else, so, and helps keep the bag together and straight. Okay, make sure you're going over the ears. All right, the other handle, we're almost at 0 there, okay, and cut. Right. Now here's the fun part. Take your hand, and you put it in that little hole, and you take the opposite corner of the bag, and you're just going to slowly, pretty much, pull it out, little by little. If you happen to rip some of these stitches, don't panic. It's all good. You're going to sew back over it anyways, okay? It's all good, okay? So here we get coming together. So we would just flip those two onto the inside, either whip stitch it with your hand needle and thread, or just zip it through the sewing machine. It's completely up to you. I'm just going to tuck it in so you can see, because I can do that after. You know what you got to do, okay? So here is our little green and blue bunny bag so far. Isn't he cute? Super cute. And like I say, I got the eyes and everything there. So to give this nice little finish, we're going to sew all the way around, okay? Now here's another way: decorative stitches, colored thread, whatever you want to do. You can even use rickrack. Do you know what rickrack is? It's that little wavy, funky stuff you can add onto things, like a little decorative. I've even seen the bunnies with the whiskers that were like that with the rickrack. I thought that was kind of cool. And what you're also doing is you're stitching again over that handle. This handle ain't going nowhere. They can fill it full of chocolate eggs till the cows come home, but it ain't going to go nowhere. And I love the quiltedness of it because it just adds so much little body to the quilt, right? To the little bag, right? It's so cute. Sorry, itchy foot. It's hard to sew with an itchy foot. Okay, the same with the ears. And you could probably add some interfacing to the ears if you wanted them to stand up or be more stiff or whatever. And like I said, you could have stuffed them. You could, there's so many things you could do. You don't even have to add ears. You could add, you know, cardboard or felt or fun foam. There's so many other ways, right? Okay, so trim off of these little wayward dudes. And I will show you the other two that I did. Okay, so here they go. Isn't it cute? Make sure our handles are straight. No, uh-oh. See, we did a boo-boo. Our handles are wonky. That's okay, we're keeping it that way, okay? It doesn't matter, it carries the stuff anyways. So there we go, and we're gonna, like I said, there's little ears right here, or the little eyes and the little tail. I'm just gonna put that right on the back, just like that. And the little eyes right on the front, just like that, and super cute, so, alrighty. So there's one bag, and then there was the first one that I made, and I put it with the eggs. Isn't it cute? See, and I did the one little handle between the two sides, okay, and filled it all up. So there's the family's Easter bunny bag, and then here's mine. So I'm all ready for Easter. Thanks everybody for watching. Take care. Have a great day. Bye-bye.